All right, guys, here is the situation. Purchased a maxjax. Used to be made by Danmar. I believe it's now made by Bend Packer. They purchased the company at some point and revived the maxjax, 2-post lift. I got this extension for my garage door so I can utilize this to its maximum potential. We went to go install it today, and this side went relatively smooth. The anchor bolts went in. Everything looks perfect. Ran into a complication on this side. Just wanted to give a little bit of a background. This is 3,500 PSI concrete with rebar reinforced at a 4-inch depth thickness. This is a new garage construction. It was made in September of last year. And what happened was, when I went to install these quick mount anchors, I was unable to get it to purchase at the level of the concrete. These are actually protruding out. Over here, this one, I was unable to get it to purchase. So what I did was essentially get this bolt here. Oh, this is like a large removal tool for the center nut of an axle. I put it over this. I used my sacrificial bolt to see if I can get it to purchase at some level. I ended up purchasing here. I initially, when I installed it, it felt a little loose. I thought that was normal. So essentially, I put the post on, and when I raised it, I noticed that the post started to bend inward, significantly pulling out this anchor that was flush to the ground initially when I put it in there. So the anchor's pulled loose. This anchor over here, the one on this one is actually loose as well. It like kind of goes in and out, in and out. I tried to, reset it by tapping it in and utilizing the sacrificial bolt as recommended with the supplied washer to try to pull it back out and force this down using this nut as instructed, but I was unable to get this to purchase, and now I have a loose anchor here. And if I was to essentially use this thing to pull this up, my anchor bolt would be above the flush surface. The problem is this anchor bolt is so high up that when I go to put it there, the anchor bolt sticks higher, and then when I put the nut or the bolt into the anchor, there's still too much play between these guys, making this a very unsafe situation. Very concerned that the lift was going to collapse and damage one of these vehicles. Making this video, hopefully the technical support people will be able to assist me in resolving this issue. Again, it looks like there was a failure of essentially all of these anchors. They all protruded above the level of the flush surface where they were supposed to be. And this one here was essentially as loose as this one until I was trying to extract it by pulling it up as hard as I could using this tool here to give me some distance between the anchor itself and the ground. So I'm in a situation, pretty bad situation, because a couple people had said, these anchors aren't coming out without destroying the concrete. Brand new slab I had poured, brand new foundation, brand new everything. Someone suggested to essentially cut out a large section, re-pour it, and then reattempt. I'm hoping there might be some form of solution at this point, so I don't have to damage the concrete any further. I'm okay with reinstalling bolts to move this forward. Problem is, with my limited garage space here, the placement of this is going to be difficult to reconfigure. I was thinking of potentially moving the whole base forward by 6 inches. That would essentially put my new bolt here and the new bolt here and the new one here, And I would reconfigure it, but I'm concerned about the distance between these two holes drilled. And if I'm putting another one here, would that weaken the integrity of the concrete, essentially making this lift more unsafe than it would be with just utilizing these anchors, which are extremely loose. I can tell you a possible technical error could have happened in when we were installing these guys. Initially we tapped them in, and then when we were holding this still and tightening this, whatever the 5/8 or whatever it was, it was spinning. We did the 3 turns as recommended, and it still seemed loose. So we were like, okay, well, maybe we should just stick with that. And then we went ahead and put the plate on here, tightened them down, and that pulled it up more. And that could have been some kind of contributing factor. I'm not sure exactly how these anchors are supposed to engage, but I went back and reattempted to screw this in with the washer and the nut, and then try to pull this anchor up while holding everything in place, and that did not work. All that ended up happening was the anchor came up to the nut and it tightened against the nut, and it was unable to advance any further. So I essentially tightened this more and left the nut up higher and pushed it down to see if I could essentially pull this up to it while keeping a flat washer against it. That also failed as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and forward this to the support team at maxjax to see if they have a solution for this. One thing I want to note is that the depth of this concrete is consistent throughout, minimum 4 inches. I checked it with a depth gauge and with our drill bit. We did go through the entire slab to dirt, which according to the instruction says that you have to drill 4.5 inches. I think the instructions I have said 5 inches, but what I've done research online was 4.5. And now I'm in this state of uncertainty in terms of what the next step is. Again, with this side over here, everything went off without any complication. Everything went in beautifully. We did take into account to make sure the drill holes were perfectly straight. Everything was exactly to the precision that we could get it to. We had a licensed contractor, one of my friends. He brought over his equipment, and we did this today. And now we're stuck in this position. So if there's a way to extract these anchors, if possible, without having to do much else, that would be great. If there's a solution or something that we can do to a workaround that could solve this issue. I was thinking of potentially putting this base plate back over this and bolstering with washers a little bit higher up, and then putting that bolt on so it would still suck it down against the base plate. The only problem I see is these were designed to be flush with the concrete, and now I'm 1 inch less of anchoring power that's underneath this slab. So that's pretty much the complication that I'm in. I really hope that you guys will be able to provide me with some form of solution that's not going to involve tearing up this concrete. Again, the other solution would be to move this whole base plate about a few inches forward, and that could potentially solve the issue, but it might be a little tight to get in and out of the doors, but I'm okay with that. If that's somewhat of a solution that's still going to be okay with, given the other additional holes, points of weakness that we created by the first drill attempt. So again, I hope I didn't leave anything else out on this issue. Please let me know what you guys would recommend. Thank you.